Welcome to Evolving Into Her. I'm Ashlee Hope, and this is your weekly check-in to get out of your head, into your body, and back into alignment with the version of you who's already living the vision. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's get into the show. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to Evolving Into Her. Per usual, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so grateful you pressed play. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if this podcast has been blessing you, I know it has because you're back, girl. Okay. I would greatly appreciate it if you left me a written review on Apple Podcasts. And because I believe in reciprocity, because I believe in a fair energy exchange, I created something so beautiful, so magnetic to say thank you. So when you leave me a review, make sure you screenshot it and you can email it to me at hello@ashleehope.co with no M on the end. hello@ashleehope.co. Put review in the subject line and I will send you my brand new subliminal audio called Soft Life Frequency. Okay. Now, if you know, if you've been around for a while, you know that I live a very soft, slow, intentional life. Before it was trendy, before everybody was talking about it, like since I would say 2018, 2019. Okay. So much so that I low-key gatekeep it. Okay. Because once you experience this kind of softness and this level of peace, this level of ease, you realize just how sacred it is, just how special it is. And I just want to protect that, But this time I want to share a little piece of it with you. And here's why I love subliminals. I use them every single day, usually while I sleep, and I play them out loud. So husband inadvertently gets the benefits as well. But I also listen to them when I journal or when I'm just moving throughout my day. And the thing I love about them is that they're passive, they're effortless. You don't have to force anything. You don't got to figure anything out. You don't have to make time for it. You don't got to sit crisscross applesauce. You don't got to journal about it. You just press play and you let the work for you. And subliminals bypass your conscious mind. They bypass the gatekeepers of your mind and they go straight to your subconscious. And they very gently rewire the beliefs that keep you in survival mode. And they start shifting your frequency into alignment with the life you're trying to build. Okay. That's what the soft life frequency is designed to do, to help you embody ease, to choose softness over struggle, and to remind your subconscious that life can feel spacious. Life can feel safe. Life can feel full, fulfilling, abundant. Life can feel soft. And it's one of the ways that I keep myself really anchored and rooted and grounded in peace. And speaking of peace, that brings me into today's conversation. I'm really excited about this one because if I had to put language to the way I move through life now, I'd honestly say that it is very rare that I worry about the future anymore, if at all. And it's not because my life is perfect or because I have everything figured out. Life still happens. Challenges still show up. Life's still gonna life for everybody. The world around us is still uncertain. The economy, politics, family dynamics, relationships, business, like it's a lot to juggle. It's a lot to sustain. But even in the middle of all that, I've truly found peace that doesn't come from me trying to control everything. It comes from letting go. It comes from surrendering. It comes from learning how to let God drive. So in today's episode, I just want to unpack what that looks like in real life for me and how I turn prayer into a daily habit for myself, how I send blessings ahead into every area of my life. I'm talking my finances, my relationships, my community, my health, and how I move from really white knuckling the wheel and moved into sliding in the backseat and just trusting my Father to get me exactly where I need to be in divine timing, in divine order. And so my hope is that by the end of this episode, you'll feel lighter, sis. You'll feel like you don't have to carry it all. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be it all. You don't have to figure it all out. And you don't have to live in this constant anxiety about what's next. There's another way to move. There's another way to operate. There's another way to think. There's another way to be. There's another way to live. So grab your favorite drink. Today, I am having a protein smoothie. I just finished leg day. I'm going to give you the recipe really quickly. It's half parts almond milk, half parts water, a quarter of a frozen banana, a handful of frozen blueberries, vanilla protein, a scoop of creatine, a scoop of collagen, blend it up, and it just tastes so good. I love how the banana gives it this creaminess. I love the flavor of the blueberries. It's kind of sweet, a little tart. It's very refreshing. And it really tastes like a blueberry shake to me. It's so good. Okay, friend, now that you got your drink, now that you're comfy, let's get into the show. So I touched on this in a previous episode, but one of the things that really shifted my relationship with the future and my future self was realizing I could send blessings ahead of me. So I don't just pray about what's happening right now, what's right in front of me, my circumstances right now. I pray into what hasn't even happened yet. I ask God and the Holy Spirit to go before me, to clear the way, to cover me, to send angels ahead of me, to prepare the ground. I pray over my finances, my relationship, my health, my community, my business. I speak life over all of it before I even step into it. And so I just want to make this part clear. These are not anxious prayers. I'm not sitting up here begging God or pleading with God or God, please don't let this fall apart. Please don't forget about me. Baby, please help me, help me. No, ma'am. Okay. These are affirmative prayers. They come from a place of assurance. They come from a place of trust. They come from a place of knowing. And they sound more like, thank you, God, in advance for going before me. Thank you for opening doors no man can shut. Thank you for surrounding me with favor. Thank you for providing what I need before I even know I need it. And that shift changed everything, because when you thank God in advance like this, you're already aligning yourself with the belief that it's done. And it is so. You're not praying from fear. You're praying from faith. And the more I prayed like that, the more it became second nature. It wasn't something I had to remind myself to do, because it became a habit and almost became like muscle memory for me. So now when I think about the future, I'm not anxious, because in my spirit, it's already been prayed over. It's already been blessed. It's already been spoken over. I've already spoken life into it. I've already thanked God for it. And that takes the pressure off me to control everything, because I know it's covered. And this is where faith meets neuroscience. I love this part. Our brains are wired to anticipate danger. It's how the nervous system tries to protect us. And when you don't know what's ahead, your mind will start to fill in the gaps with fear. But when you pray affirmatively into your future, when you declare peace, when you declare clarity, when you declare protection, when you declare provision, you're not just releasing that into the spiritual realm, you're also retraining your brain, and you're teaching your nervous system a new default. You're priming it to expect safety instead of danger. And that's why prayer is more than just words. It's a practice. It reshapes how your body experiences the unknown. It trains you to stop spiraling about the what ifs and start resting in the truth that it's already handled. It's already done. And to be clear, I don't just do this for big milestones. I pray over everyday life. The conversations I haven't had yet, the meetings on my calendar, the bills that haven't even arrived yet, okay? The opportunities I can't see yet, I pray over all of it. Because my thing is, if God cares about the details of my life, why wouldn't I invite him into them, you know? And I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I had a call scheduled with my private community. And I knew we were going to be touching on some deep things. I was a little anxious about that. Old me would have been nervous. I would have been thinking about what to say, overthinking about what to say, probably scared that I, might not have the right words. I want to be sensitive. I want to be trauma informed. But the night before, I just prayed, and I didn't pray out of fear. I didn't beg God to keep it from going left. I thanked him in advance for his presence on that call. I thanked him for preparing the hearts of the women who would be there. I thanked him for giving me words that would land exactly how they needed to. And when the call happened, the energy was so potent, it was so peaceful, and it always is. It always is. And the words just flowed out of me. Women told me afterwards it was exactly what they needed. I got such great feedback in the group chat. And that moment just really reminded me that I didn't have to control the outcome. I could send blessings forward with faith and with gratitude. And that's the kind of peace I'm talking about. That's why I rarely worry anymore because I know it's already covered before I get there. I know it's already done. I know that God got me. So if you've been carrying anxiety about what's next, I want you to try this and shift from anxious prayers to affirmative ones. Don't just ask, don't just beg, don't just plead. I need you to thank God in advance. I need you to declare. I need you to pray into tomorrow, pray into next week, pray into your next season. Cover it before you even get there, girl. Okay. And you'll notice how your body will just start to relax because your spirit already knows you've planted something good there. Okay. So let's go a little deeper into what this surrender has really looked like in my life because surrender sounds good, but I know some people are like, girl, what does that really look like? Or what did that look like for you? So a lot of you guys may resonate with this. For a long time, I was in the driver's seat. I thought that's what thriving meant. I thought that meant having my hands on the wheel, mapping out every turn, controlling every detail. If I could just plan enough, work enough, force enough, then eventually I would get to where I wanted to go. And let me be real with you. It looked good on the outside. I got a lot of praise for that. People probably thought, you know what? Actually, she's got her shit together. Okay. But on the inside, I was exhausted because the truth is no matter how hard you try and you effort and you do, life will always throw you things you didn't plan for. And at one point I said, okay, God, I'll let you drive. I'll sit in the passenger seat. And again, that sounded good. It sounded like surrender. But if I had to be honest with myself, baby, I was still reaching for the wheel. I was trying to control the aux. I was still pointing out directions. I'm trying to call out which route we should take. I'm over here slamming on the brakes. I thought I was surrendering. I was trying to surrender, but really I was just a passenger seat driver. I was still anxious. I was still trying to make sure we didn't miss the exit. I was still holding on to the illusion of control. And over time, God just showed me a different picture. He showed me a different way, a different perspective. And now I don't even want to be in the passenger seat. Put me in the back seat. Okay. Like if you think about it, when you were a kid, that's where the peace was. Sitting in the back seat while your parents drove. You weren't worried about traffic. You weren't worried about whether there was gas in the car. You weren't worried about what time you'd arrive. You weren't even thinking about whether you'd get there safely. You were just being. You back there singing along with the radio, playing with your toys, staring out the window. You might be taking a nap. Like you trusted your parents to handle everything else. And that's the kind of trust I live with now. Backseat living with my snacks. I got my music completely unbothered because I trust my father to get me to where I need to be in divine timing and divine order. And so a story that made this real for me. When I first moved to Houston, this was right after I quit my corporate career in accounting. If you haven't heard that full story, go back to episode 3, where I talk about dismantling my entire life to begin again. And I do it all over again, period. But when I left that job, I didn't plan to be full time in my business. My intention was really to move to Houston, apply for jobs, find a new career lane once I got here. So thankfully, I was already making 10K months in my business at the time. So I had a little bit of wiggle room. I had time. I had the financial freedom to kind of figure it all out. But in my mind, there was just no way entrepreneurship could be sustainable long term, especially in the area of business that I was in the spiritual business. And if I'm honest, I was still very much tied to what success should look like for me. So I revamped my resume. And I applied to job after job after job. And when I tell you I had over 10 years of experience in my field and did not get a single call back, not one, baby, that made no sense to me. So eventually I really had to sit with myself and I was like, okay, God, maybe this isn't supposed to look like what I thought it would. Maybe I need to let go of my picture of success and trust yours. And that was the moment of surrender. that was me moving from the passenger seat into the back seat because I couldn't explain it, but I had to trust that God's plan for me was way bigger than my own. And looking back now, I can see it all so clearly. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Okay. Hindsight is always 2020 because if I had gotten a corporate job in Houston, I probably would have played it safe. And I likely would have missed out on everything I've built since then. The business, the community, the life I get to live now. I believe that God closed every single door I thought I wanted so he could push me into the one I didn't even know was possible. And that's what surrender looks like, friend. It looks like really letting go of the picture you've built in your head and trusting the one who sees the whole map. So when I say I rarely worry about the future anymore, it's not because challenges don't happen. It's not because life doesn't throw curveballs. It's because I've seen firsthand what happens when you let go of control. And God's plan is always greater than mine, is so much bigger, so much more expansive, so much more juicy and fulfilling, and just sexier than anything that I could dream up. So here's the thing, sis. Life is always going to life. That is the only guarantee we have when we incarnate on this earth, that life will indeed life, okay? There will be setbacks. There will be delays. There will be detours. There will be seasons that don't make sense in the moment. But when you've truly surrendered and you've decided to let God drive, you stop treating these moments or these seasons as failures, and you start to see them as just part of the route. So I want to pause here and name something that so many of us don't always say out loud. And as women, we're constantly measured against milestones. And there's this invisible and arbitrary checklist that society hands to us, and the clock starts ticking the moment we become adults. So you got to be married by this age, kids by this age, a home by this age, promotions by this age, a certain salary, a certain life, a certain title, a certain lifestyle. And when you look around and you see other women your age hitting those markers, it can stir something up in you. And this voice creeps in and it's like, what about me? When is it my turn? Did I miss my turn? Am I too late? Am I doing life wrong? And the anxiety that comes with that is real because what is underneath all of that isn't just comparison. It is fear. Okay. It's fear that maybe you won't get another chance, that maybe you did miss the mark. It's fear that somehow God did forget about you, that maybe you're not measuring up. But baby, the truth is there is no such thing as being behind when you're aligned with God's timing. And I'm going to reiterate that. Take notes if you need to. There is no such thing as being behind when you're aligned with God's timing. His timeline is not the world's timeline. The route he has for you may not look like everyone else's, and that's the point. And so let me give you an example. There was a season when I was praying for partnership. I was praying for love. I knew I deserved it. And if I had listened to the world's timeline, I probably would have rushed it. I would have settled into something half-hearted just to say I had someone, just to say I had a man, just to check the box, because that's the pressure. Because you don't want to be the only one at the brunch table without a ring, or the only one at the family gathering without kids, even though you don't even really want kids, or the only one in your group chat who hasn't hit six figures yet. Like, that pressure can make you want to grab onto anything just to prove you're not falling behind. And that is a very dangerous way to live your life. So instead of rushing, I trusted. I kept doing my inner work. I kept building my life. I kept enjoying my life. I kept listening for God's guidance. And when the timing was right, the love I had been praying for, setting intentions for, fasting for, it showed up. And not in the way I thought it would, not in the timeline the world said it should, but in a way that was aligned, healthy, and divinely timed for me. And that is the beauty and the gift of divine timing. You might not understand it in the moment. Your family might not understand it. Your friends might side eye you. But when you trust God, like really trust him, you begin to realize you're always on time for your assignment. Nothing good that belongs to you can pass you by. Okay. Nothing good that belongs to you can pass you by. And the part that I love is where the science meets the spirit. So, you know, anxiety is often the nervous system's response to uncertainty. And so the amygdala, the part of the brain that controls fear, it lights up when things don't match your expectations. So that's why waiting can feel like pressure. It can feel so uncomfortable. Sometimes it can feel unbearable. That's why scrolling social media can feel like an attack on your nervous system because you're seeing these highlight reels of other people's timelines and your brain is interpreting this as danger, as, okay, you're off track. Why aren't you here? But here's the reframe, okay? When you learn to trust divine timing, you're not just soothing your spirit, you're literally retraining your nervous system and you're teaching your body that delay isn't danger. It can relax. Delay is just direction. You're teaching your body that the pause isn't punishment. Like in those seasons, a lot of times you're being prepared. So if you've been carrying that pressure, if you've been looking at other people's lives and wondering if you're late, sis, I want you to hear me very clearly. You're not behind. You're not missing anything. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And when it's time, what's yours won't miss you. And so here's the part I really want you to take with you because, you know, it's one thing to talk about trusting God's timing in a big picture sense, but what does it look like on a daily basis? Like, how do you anchor yourself in that trust when the bills are sitting on your counter, when the meeting is on your calendar, when the hard conversation is waiting for you? And for me, that looks like covering my days in prayer, even before the day comes. So every single night as I'm winding down, I pray over my tomorrow. And I thank God in advance for what's already being prepared. I send blessings forward into the next day. And I want to be clear, these are not anxious prayers. I am not pleading. I am not begging. I'm not saying, God, please don't let tomorrow fall all apart. No, these are affirmative, faith-filled prayers. And they sound like, thank you, God, for ordering my steps tomorrow. Thank you for going before me and clearing the path. Thank you for sending angels ahead of me to guide and protect me. Thank you for surrounding me with favor. Thank you that everything I need will be provided before I even know I need it. And when I say thank you for sending angels ahead of me, I really picture this in my mind's eye. And I imagine angels going into the rooms I haven't walked into yet, softening hearts, shifting atmosphere, preparing the way. I imagine them covering the roads that I'll drive, standing guard around my home, standing at the doors of opportunities that are meant for me, making sure what's not meant for me doesn't even reach me. And that just brings me so much peace just to know I'm not walking into anything alone. I'm never the first one to arrive. God and his angels are already there. And when you live like that, you start to notice the difference and you don't walk into spaces with the same heaviness. So even when you're stepping into something new, even if you don't know how it'll unfold, you really carry this confidence with you because you know you're covered. And that's the beauty of sending angels ahead. Like you're not leaving it all on your shoulders. You're inviting heaven in to work on your behalf. And the truth is, sis, there are some things we will never know that God protected us from. Like we'll never see the accidents we avoided, the opportunities that weren't really safe for us, the heartbreaks that could have derailed us. But I believe with my whole heart that when I pray that prayer, when I thank God for sending angels ahead of me, he's already aligning things in ways I may never fully see, but I can always feel the fruit of it. And so if you're open to it, try this out tonight. It doesn't have to be complicated. And just take a minute before bed and close your eyes and breathe and just whisper, God, thank you for sending angels ahead of me. And cover your work, cover your family, your kids, your spouse, your health, your peace, and just thank him in advance as if it's already done, because in faith it is. And this is a simple practice, but you'll notice over time, it'll just change the way that you move. It'll change your energy. It'll change your frequency because you're not waking up and running straight into chaos. You're waking up into a day that has already been blessed, that's already been prepared for you. And over time, this just builds this foundation of trust, and you'll start to see little confirmations, stuff like, you know, things working out smoother than you expected, opportunities aligning, peace showing up where, you know, you may used to feel some panic, That's not random, sis. That is the fruit of praying ahead, of sending blessings forward, of asking angels to go before you. So if you want to live with less anxiety about the future, don't just think about the big picture of divine timing. Start practicing this daily. Cover your tomorrow before it comes. Speak life into it. Speak life over it. Thank God in advance and thank him for sending angels ahead of you. Because once you start really living like this, sis, you'll notice the shift. So worry won't feel like your default anymore. Peace will. And so I know these conversations can feel big and abstract sometimes. So I want to leave you with something practical, kind of like a toolkit. Okay. So if you want to take notes here, you can, but these are real steps you can start putting into practice right now to experience more peace and less worry about the future. So one, start your day with prayer. Okay. Make it a daily habit. It doesn't have to be long or formal, and just take a moment to thank God in advance for going before you. You can cover your finances, your health, your family, your work, whatever matters to you. Do not wait until you're in a crisis to pray. Okay. Send blessings forward every single day. And I like to do this the night before, but doing it in the morning is fine too. Number two, pray affirmatively, not anxiously. So instead of begging God not to let things fall apart, declare what's already true. Thank you, God, for ordering my steps. Thank you for sending angels ahead of me. Thank you for providing everything I need. Gratitude in advance is a demonstration of faith. Number three, invite angels ahead of you. So every day, ask God to send his angels before you to shift atmospheres, to guard your steps, to guide your steps, to protect you from what's not for you. And let that picture settle in your spirit, because you're never walking into anything alone. Number four, release the timeline. That's probably going to be the hardest part for a lot of you guys. Take the pressure off yourself to be married by this age, have kids by that age, buy the house, hit the salary. All of those timelines are man-made. God's timeline is divine. Trust that what is yours will find you in the right season at the right time. Number five, anchor your nervous system. So when anxiety rises, and it will, I want you to just pause and breathe. Put your hand on your heart and just whisper, I am safe. I am covered. I am guided. And this simple act teaches your body to rest in the truth of God's covering, even when your mind wants to spiral. And number six, use your tools. Don't just accumulate the tools and learn all the things, like put them into practice. That is the only way that they work. And shameless plug for subliminals, especially the soft life frequency that I created for you guys, because they work passively and they help reprogram your subconscious to choose peace and to choose ease and to choose trust without any effort. And so just layer these tools into your day and let them do their work beneath the surface. And so, friend, the more you practice these things, the more peace becomes your default, and you stop waking up embracing for the worst and start waking up expecting blessings. You start moving through life with an assurance that you're not alone and that you're not late. And the best part is you'll begin to notice little confirmations everywhere. Conversations will flow smoother than you thought they would. Opportunities will start to land in your lap unexpectedly. The protection you feel in places that used to trigger fear, like these aren't coincidences, right? These aren't happenstance. That is the fruit of trust. That is the fruit of faith. That is the fruit of surrender. So if you've been wrestling with anxiety about the future, friends, start here, one small step at a time. Pray ahead. Thank God in advance. Invite angels to go before you, and then rest. Okay? Because when you let God drive, you will always be right on time. And before we wrap up today's conversation, I want to take a pause with you, because it's one thing to hear all of this and to nod along and to even take notes, but it's another thing to actually feel it in your body. And that's what a moment for her is about. This is where we shift out of our heads and into our hearts so you can really anchor this truth for yourself. This is a moment for her. If it's safe, go ahead and close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and exhale fully through your mouth. Good. And just allow your shoulders to drop. And now I want you to imagine yourself in the backseat of a car. It's evening. The sky is soft. The road ahead is steady. And you're curled up comfortably, maybe in a blanket, maybe with a snack. And you can hear the gentle hum of the tires on the road. And in this backseat, you're not worried about traffic. You're not worried about the turns. You're not worried about the GPS. You're not worried about the destination. You know without a doubt that your Father is in the driver's seat. And say this with me, either in your head or out loud. I am safe. I am covered. I am guided. And now picture angels going ahead of you, moving into the rooms you haven't entered yet, shifting the atmosphere before you arrive, guarding the doors that aren't for you and opening the ones that are. They're lining the road. They're surrounding you. They're making sure you arrive exactly where you need to be. And again, you can say this out loud or in your mind. Thank you, God, for sending angels ahead of me. And just really feel into that and take one more deep breath in and exhale. And just allow your body to feel the peace that comes when you're not carrying it all by yourself. Sis, you are not alone. You've never been alone. And you'll never walk into a space without divine covering again. And when you're ready, slowly bring your mind back to the room. You can wiggle your toes and fingers and open your eyes. Sis, I pray today's episode reminded you that you don't have to carry it all. You don't have to white knuckle the wheel of your life. You don't have to sit in constant worry about what's next. You can climb into the back seat, girl, and trust that your Father is driving. Rest in the knowing that angels have already gone ahead of you. If this conversation blessed you, I would love for you to leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts. That's how more women like us find this community and step into these conversations. And as my thank you, don't forget I created something special for you. When you leave a review, screenshot it, email it to hello@ashleehope.co with review in the subject line, and I'll send you my brand new subliminal audio, The Soft Life Frequency. So make sure you subscribe, leave that review, and share this episode with someone who needs a reminder that they are covered. Until next time, sis, keep evolving, keep trusting, and remember, when you let God drive, peace will always be your portion. I love you. See you next week. I'm Ashlee Hope, and you've been listening to Evolving Into Her. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for choosing her, for choosing yourself. And until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming.